this, I had a massive sinus infection, which I'm still getting over. So I was just like, there's no way I can do this and that. Like, it would have been, it would have been bad.
I push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops me.
It was a time of turmoil in my life because I was I was still battling my alcoholism. I actually got sober in the middle of that album. So that song kind of took on a completely new importance to me of how someone who's struggling to be a good person can still be pulled down into the dregs of this like kind of horrible disease and making horrible decisions. No person is one way or the other. We all have these battling images, these battling colors that bleed into each other. It's the fight that we all have in our lives, you know, of trying to do the right thing.
I'll never kill myself to save my soul. I was coming out,
Unsainted is it's actually part of the tale that is told on We Are Not Your Kind. It's actually discussing probably one of the darkest times in my life from a quite toxic relationship that I was actually finding my way out of. And Unsainted was kind of the story of trying to find my way back into that light that we talked about in Duality, you know, because so much of my life at that point was just in this darkness. You know, I didn't want to be that rock and roll cliche because I fucking hate them. And once I realized that I wasn't going to be good to anyone unless I got out of that relationship, that was me trying to find a way to salvage something. So that's kind of what Unsainted is me trying to save my soul to be a better father, to be a better man, to be a better husband to whoever was going to come next and eventually became my lovely wife now.
come on down. It's an idiot right here. Too far to make it, I'm afraid to get. What's the matter, looking over the anyway? Run, get the fuck out of my face.
I grew up all over the place. The one thing that I experienced was prejudice and bullying, you know? I mean, even just from the standpoint of being poor and then being the weirdo and then being the new kid everywhere. I experienced so much violence, not just from the kids at school, but, you know, going home. It was bad, you know? I went through a lot of trauma when I was young. And that's coming from that dark part of my soul, you know? Obviously now, 25 years later, I'm a little more empathetic, just because I know that, you know, sometimes everybody needs at least 2 chances. By the 3rd chance, fuck you. After Iowa, I have to talk about the fallout of 9/11, because that affected our journey in a real way, because once that happened, and it was a week after Iowa came out, we were anathema as far as radio goes, MTV goes. We got no press, we got nothing. We had to go out, we went on the road to sell that album, you know? And it's amazing that we sold any fucking copies of it, because by that time, extreme music was, nobody wanted to talk about it, and it was just, yeah. At that time, I had no idea if Slipknot was even going to continue. We've been trying to keep the fans together. And you look at us, and you put this fucking stigma on us, and you want to say that we're part of the problem when you're fucking part of the problem? So we were mad, you know?
The last thing on earth I am ready to do is say goodbye.
I wrote that in my head as I was sitting with the band in my house in the aftermath of Paul being discovered. I mean, it was literally that day. And I can just remember looking around, and the first couple of lines came into my head. It's probably one of the most expressive songs I've ever written, and I knew that it was going to be a leader into a heavier song, but I knew that I needed to make sure that it was important. It was hard to finish, because I had to make sure that there was a positive spin on it. And at the time, I couldn't find positivity in anything, man. It's the closest I've come to drinking again. And honestly, for a minute, I did. That's one of the reasons why I quit 13 years ago, and it was a brief period after his death. It was like 3 months. And then I just kind of said, you know what, I have to stop, because I know where this leads, and I don't want to follow that road again. I mean, the great thing about writing lyrics out, I definitely think that it's therapeutic, especially for me, and it's something that I encourage other writers to do, especially people who have been through the same kind of trauma that I have.
Go drill your deserts, go dig your graves, then fill your mouth with all the money you will save.
Psychosocial, socio-political really kind of came down to what we're kind of seeing now in America, where if I thought it was weird when I wrote that song then, now it's even more diametrically opposed. And
it was before the election.
Exactly.
It was during George Bush.
Exactly. It's been weird to see how, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it got worse. What the fuck, And I'm standing in the middle because I'm very politically in the middle. And I'm just going, is this the death of the conversation? Is that what we're seeing? Because that's kind of another way that psychosocial behavior is to treat someone how you think they are, not how they are.
I am a world before I am a man. I was a creature before I could stand.
Before I forget, it's actually funny because it's the song that Rick Rubin straight up told me to rewrite the lyrics for because he said it wasn't a hit. And I just looked at him and I said, you're crazy. He convinced me to rewrite a couple of things. And I was like, okay, I could see where you're going with that, that's fine. I'm guaranteeing you it's gonna be one of our singles. And he laughed at me. And I was like, nope, you watch. And I'm really proud that I stuck to my guns on this because then we ended up winning the Grammy.
How did you react when you get the Grammy?
I laughed my ass off. I think that would have made me a hypocrite because I've given the Grammys so much shit over the years that I'm kind of glad I didn't go because I can keep some self-respect for that. But I still got the plaque. It's in my bathroom.